Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Mad Meo, where we take a look at the games of MeomaikA, the #1 player in Vietnam, and the strangest zerg player you'll ever watch. He's down here in the bottom left side on his account Last Seeking, and he's playing against Night Phoenix, already making fun of him here for being a bit of a zerg enjoyer. Night Phoenix is a Ukrainian Protoss player, and this was actually played in the King of the Hill run by OSC. So Night Phoenix at this point is basically won against 4 opponents in a row. He's starting to stack up that prize money, and is right now apparently maybe kind of saying that this matchup isn't fair or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. He says, let's play TVT, it's better, says Night Phoenix. Now, for those who don't know MeomaikA, basically he's just a massive cheese lord. He's known for not spreading creep tumors almost ever. And when he does, if he loses the game, he basically takes that as evidence that he should never spread creep ever again because it doesn't work for him. He's a weirdo. He's so unpredictable. He plays like an absolute maniac. And he has always delivered us just so many strange games. Seems like Night Phoenix here is trying to consider, or get Meo to consider having a rematch of PvZ, but with the races switched, which is, you know, an interesting little approach here. Meo going for a spawning pool first, his favorite build. And I gotta tell you, as a Protoss versus Zerg playing Meo, it is so hard. I've beaten him a couple times in ZVZ in the last few years on the ladder when I caught him sleeping, but PvZ I find almost impossible because Protoss versus Zerg is all about getting a read on what the Zerg wants to do and then kind of building the counter to that at the right time. The problem with Meo is he'll like build a bunch of fighting. Okay, case in point, here we go. I was gonna say, he will just build a bunch of fighting units and just come across the map and try to kill you. Right now, he's trying to rush a Roach Warren. Oh, the probe's coming back in though. If the probe sees this Roach Warren, it's gonna scout that he's going for a big all-in. Oh, the Zergling's out just in time though, so that's unfortunate for Night Phoenix. Looks like he will not be able to scout that, and Meo will be able to chase that probe away. 2 Zerglings to go across the map. Probe's actually gonna double back. Night Phoenix, interesting. He's going to try and skirt around the edge of the main base. The Queen was very late. She got delayed to start the Roach Warren and the 4 Zerglings. If this probe can go around the edge and get in and see that Roach Warren, this will be game-changing right now. Meo is planning what appears to be like a massive Roach all-in without even having Ling speed. And I think he saw it. Did he see it? Let's look at Night Phoenix vision. Yeah, he sees the Roach Warren. He sees the Roach Warren, immediately puts down a second gateway. Good scouting by Night Phoenix so far, but 2 probes are going to get inside the base. Adept is out, though. That's going to be able to chase them down, potentially. Shield battery goes down at the front. Stalker production as well. And Meo with 3 roaches in the way, and he goes back to droning. Okay, this is the scary thing about Meo. I told you guys he is so known for just attacking and doing these crazy YOLO weird attacks, but sometimes he just won't. And he's being scouted by Night Phoenix, and he's like, yeah, I mean, I think from the start of the game, he was actually planning this. He's like, you're going to go and scout me really hard. I'm going to show you something really aggressive, and the moment you scout it, I'm just going to go out of it, because he's actually not building any more fighting units. He's only building drones right now and queens and injecting behind us. These Lings are being so annoying. Oh my god, they finally get a probe. They've already wasted an insane amount of mining time. Night Phoenix has got to be a little triggered here. Finally, the Adept comes to clean those up. They've wasted so much time, and check it out. The roaches are here. Night Phoenix has cut probes for this whole time because he's trying to build Stalkers, Shield Battery, Warp Gate, trying to make sure he defends. Meo walks across the map with his 3 roaches. Is like, yeah, I mean, you scouted it. I know. And he just goes home. He goes home. Meanwhile, Night Phoenix only now properly resuming probing. He's spending all of his chrono boosts on sentries and stalkers. His Stargate is delayed by over a minute. Is this still terrible for Meo though? Because building a Roach Warren and 3 roaches that early is kind of bad, right? He's making Ling speed. He's droning up. He doesn't have a 3rd base, which normally I'd say is terrible. But MeomaikA is kind of famous for being down on workers on his opponent, and often even on bases, even if they're Terran or Protoss. And normally, as a Zerg, you're meant to be up a base, maybe 2, have a bit more production. Night Phoenix is like, what the hell is going on, man? He keeps shading out within the depths. He's like, can you attack me, please? Come on, man. I built all this defense. What the hell? You can't just go home and macro. And he doesn't have a lot of scouting. So he's like, damn, was this a fake out? He's probably thinking maybe he didn't build anything other than those couple of roaches and droning up, which is, of course, the correct case. So now Night Phoenix is feeling like he's a little behind. He needs to probe up pretty hard here, but he's almost supply blocked right now, and he's going to send out some Adepts to try to get info on what the next step is. Meo's going for a quick lair. 3rd hatchery's on the way. He's on 34 drones. Interestingly, he's building a few Zerglings right now, and he's going to send a few of those across the map. Another thing to watch with Meo is he is a Chaos Lord, and as a result, he's regularly going to be F2ing his army. So he doesn't really use control groups properly because he's insane. And, he finds the Adepts. Oh, what a spot of luck. He's going to shut down these Adepts in the middle of the map. Oh my god, you know what he should do? He should hide the roaches. Hide the roaches. I don't think they got spotted. Okay, so check this out. He's moved out to take a 3rd, has Night Phoenix. Night Phoenix is building oracles. He probably thinks, oh yeah, it's a standard game. There's just a few zerglings poking. These 3 stalkers can defend this. But if these 3 roaches can sneak up and join up with this, remember, roaches can turn into ravagers. This could turn into a very effective move. Oh, he's hiding them. He's hiding the roaches right now. Meo coming around. He says, okay, if you scout my push, my roach all in at the start just becomes a 3 roach fake push. But then I'm going to hide those roaches, join them up with a pack of zerglings, 24 more zerglings on the way. He's really making it look like a light zergling harass while hiding his numbers. He's waiting for the ravagers. And oh my god, Night Phoenix is moving across the map right now as well. This is the worst case scenario. You need those oracles to help defend. He's going to come in at the perfect time. Meo using those 3 roaches from the early game. Oh, this is very nasty. He does drop big biles there, takes out a stalker instantly. The sentry does drop a force field pretty well. More zerglings coming in. Oracle's going to dive across the map. There isn't that much anti-air. They'll be able to take out a queen on the 3rd, but no drones exposed there. The advantage of not building much economy as a crazy cheeser is you can't lose much economy to your opponent's harass. The Oracle's coming to get a couple drones, but MeomaikA pulls them back. 4 drones go down. The stalker's getting completely overwhelmed. That's going to be a dead 3rd base. And from what looked like a pretty recoverable position, now Night Phoenix is like, well, I'm up 12 workers, but I'm stuck on 2 bases. Remember, there's no Twilight. He's building kind of unupgraded gateway units right now. The Ravagers and the Lings causing some big drop problems. Oh my god, another Stalker goes down there. Night Phoenix has got to be careful. He needs the Oracles to help defend. Turns on both of those laser beams. He's going to try and take out some more units here. Corrosive Bile trying to come in. There is more force field available. Another Bile breaks the force field, and another force field goes down. But number 1 Oracle's out of energy. Number 2 Oracle is almost out. And the 3 roaches from the early game are dead. But at what cost? Night Phoenix now is thinking, how do I get normal units up? He's going to go Colossus to deal with the heavy Zergling. That's good, because there's also Hydras on the way here. And Meo kind of droning up in dribs and drabs. It's like, here's a few drones, here's a few Hydras, here's a few drones. The Lings come in, cancel a pylon that was trying to build at that 3rd base. Meo is in his face right now. I think Night Phoenix might feel like he needs to send the Oracles across to do damage, but of course, just defending is going to be the problem. And this is where Meo's in his element. He's like, oh, I build 2 Hydras, like just 47 drones, doesn't even have the 2nd gas in his main. He's on 3 gases, going to 5. 2 Hydras, 2 drones. Make a random melee upgrade. 2 Hydras, 2 drones, make a random upgrade. I'll add groove spines. He's such a friggin' weirdo. And the number of games where I've had like 2 or 3 Colossus versus him, and I thought, you're on Hydra Ling, my army beats yours. But he shoves in a more dangerous and scary way than any other Zerg. So Meo will like clump his whole army, and he will just like run forward and just focus your Colossus down before it gets more than 2 shots off. Lings come in for some force field. The Oracles do turn their lasers on, but they can't do that again. They're out of energy right now, so not a bad move to lose a couple Zerglings and waste some force fields. 3rd base being rebuilt. He's going to go back in for it. The force fields are pretty derpy. Those were not good force fields. Oh, no. Okay, the Immortal does hold the choke point, but a couple sentries going down. Colossus is going to save the day there for Night Phoenix, and the Lings do have to back off. Let's look at the units lost tab. Still ahead in the units lost. This is the magic of MeomaikA. He's almost never ahead in economy. He has a slight economy lead right now. Like once the 3rd's finished, it's very minimal, but it is there. But he trades so well because he always has more army on the map than you'd expect. He's now going to start a casual 8-minute Roach Horn transition. So he's got Hydra Ling tech. He's adding a Spire. Now he's adding a Roach Horn and a 2nd evolution chamber. Still while being sub 60 drones. So many Zergs off this momentum would rush straight to 70 or 80 workers. But Meo is such a weirdo because he'll very occasionally do that. Right whenever I say, oh, he never does that, he'll probably do it, right? But then the other games, you're like, oh, he could sit at 45 workers the whole game and just attack you with 40 Hydralisks right now. And Night Phoenix doesn't know what's coming. Does see a Roach Horn in an Evo chamber. Kind of signs of something deeper into the game progressing. And Night Phoenix says, you know, you already have a Roach Harem, right? Obviously meaning Warren there, but there's a Varen. A Roach Varen. It looks like Meo forgot he had the Roach Horn from the early game. When it's the first structure you build 2 minutes in, you do sometimes forget that and build another one. It would be cool if he went double upgrades, but that would make no sense right now since he has no roaches on the map. And building Corruptors, I thought it was going to be a Muta swap, but he's playing super old school. Okay, so Meo's going to go Roach Hydra. He's going to basically swarm over the front roaches to tank against the Colossus, Hydras to do damage. Corruptors will take out the Colossus, and force fields will actually be very effective against that. There are still 3 sentries in there. But this is such a weird old school style. Oh, Oracle's finding main-arding drones down there. And it looks like they do have to back away. 3 drone kills, not too bad. Still dead even on the workers. But Meo does have a 4th base up. He's adding +2 melee, +1 range. Now remember, +2 melee is really powerful because it makes Banelings one-shot workers. Problem, MeomaikA doesn't friggin' build Banelings, does he? Even against Terran, he's famous For a long time, he never built Banelings. He recently started mixing in some Baneling styles, but he actually, I would argue, looks way better when he plays his classic style, which is like Hydraling Infester. And you might think, well, that's dumb, that doesn't work versus Terran, but for anyone who's not familiar with MeomaikA, go back to 2019 when Maru won $200,000 winning WESG. He won that tournament without losing his series, except one in the group stage. Who'd he lose to? 2-0 to MeomaikA, and MeomaikA killed him with a double Hydralisk Den build to get both upgrades at the same time. Still one of my favorite Meo moments, because it was just like, what is happening in this game? Meo didn't make it that far in that tournament, but he always gets to hold up that trophy and say, hey, I beat Maru that time. That one tournament where he looked unstoppable versus everyone else. I think he like 3-0'd Serral. At the, that was like the last tournament Serral lost before becoming an absolutely unstoppable beast. Look at this army though. I kind of feel like the army's a bit too big now for Night Phoenix for him just to hammer through. Then again, his numbers, actually the army advantage is 55 army supply ahead. Archons are going to be massive. If you get a bunch of Archons, they'll deal with the Corruptors pretty well, as well as the Zerglings. Is 4 Colossus too many? I don't know. With the Warp Prism, you can micro pick up those Colossus and juggle them, dodge a lot of the Corruptor projectiles. That can be really big. If this 4th base gets up, it's bad news for Meo. Meo needs to go right now. Mad Meo's feeling a little bit horny, a little bit antsy. He's going to send Roaches and Lings around the left while his main army runs to the right. I think he's just going to focus the hatchery and fade away. Doesn't even focus it. He doesn't want to risk getting that army caught. They do run away, but these guys are going to run in at the same time. A few more Stalkers warping in there. Bit of a recall of at least part of the army. But does that mean there's enough down here? Meo might dive, saying, hey, you weakened your army too much. And indeed, he's going to jump on top. One of the Archons has already gone down. The Colossus are getting focused. They're only shooting Roaches right now. They're not very effective versus Roaches. The Roach transition at like 10 minutes into the game, all these new Roaches popping out is actually working so well. So many important Protoss units are going down. Oh, this is so unfortunate for Night Phoenix. Does a hot pickup on the Colossus, but the Prism is almost gone as well. The Hydras do fall on that right side, though. Meanwhile, Mass Roach on the left, still looking pretty good right now. It looks like Meo might have him. He's taken out all the expensive units. New Colossus is building. Stalker's trying to warp it on the natural as well. And the last seeking MeomaikA, the absolute ridiculous Zerg enjoyer that he is just going to start to run away after picking off all the expensive units. He also forces a lot of Stalker Warpins, not really the unit you want at this stage. And of course, the only creepy spreads is from Overlords. He's such a donkey, I love it. Meo's the best. He's like, spreading creepers for tryhards and virgins, and I am neither of those. I am a very virile Vietnamese Zerg player. Roaches on the right, Roaches on the left. Oh, but Night Phoenix blinks on top and traps them. Meo's gone a bit too deep. These Roaches, they're chunks of meat getting chucked in the water there. Woohoo! Absolute waste disposal unit maneuver there. Night Phoenix, that was a very important move. He just took out a crazy amount of Roaches. Pretty sure he was down in the units lost. Now he's ahead. Problem is his minerals are running out. He can make a lot more Archons. That's the one power of Protoss in these scenarios. But Meo is just going to have an unlimited amount of Roachling. And even though his worker count's not that high, he's always got these new bases coming up. So he can keep transferring workers, and he's never oversaturated. He's got an Infestation Pit coming up behind this as well. Carapace upgrades on the way. Stalker, Archon, Colossus kind of doing what they can. Disruptor's building right now. Disruptors are MeomaikA's most hated units, because he loves to just run in a big clump. Oh god, watch out for the Disruptor. Okay, he does pull back. He sees the Disruptor, and he does feel a little bit of fear, so he does try to back away. Lings try to shove in. They decide against it. I don't know if this is the right time for him to commit right now. So looks like a good position for Night Phoenix. The Disruptor shot does clip the edge of the Roaches and the Lings up there. The Colossus does fall back. The Stalkers fighting as best as they can. The Archons, the battery overcharges. The Stalkers trying to stop them from escaping right now. Zealot's coming in, but Charge is not ready just yet. A lot of Roaches went down there. He takes out some valuable Protoss units, but Protoss has a 4th base behind this, and it feels like this game is still neck and neck. MeomaikA's like, I can't just win by shoving Roaches. He's going to make a few more Corruptors to deal with the Colossus. But, man, making just Roaches, Lings, and Corruptors versus Archon Disruptor, this feels so awkward. Only MeomaikA would do this, but he's like, you know what? They're so cheap. They're so easy to reproduce. I can just massively morph Ravagers on the front as well. And I think Night Phoenix needs to be, like, just very turtly. And at any moment, if you step out on the map, Meo's really tricky at surrounding you. So this nasty, nasty boy here is always looking for an opening. Speaking of which, that natural gets abandoned. Those Lings will run in. That's a lot of 2-1 Zerglings, plus 2 Carapaces on the way behind this as well. Still has not spread a single Creep Tumor this game. Creep Tumors are something he's allergic to, I'm pretty sure. I think he has a bit of an allergy to that, bit of a bad reaction, puts a Creep Tumor down. And even though Creep Tumors kind of look like pimples, maybe he breaks out with all sorts of hives and pimples himself. Oh, Link's go after the Colossus. Oh my god. Night Phoenix, no, he's not watching. The Colossus gets taken out by Zerglings. Oh my god, that's a nasty move. Looks like a whole bunch of Ravagers ran into a Disruptor shot on the other side, though. So it does kind of even out a little, but losing a Colossus is very, very costly because that was the only one. And it's so important to deal with this mass Zergling. He's only got a few Archons and a lot of Zealots. Zealots are getting caught in the middle here. Zergling's going to take a big surround. Remember, those Zerglings have better upgrades. 2-1 versus 2-0. So they trade pretty well. Disruptor shot's going to go out, though, on the Ravagers. Decent dodge from Meo. The next one doesn't really get dodged at all. The Disruptors, one of them gets surrounded. He's going to try and use Disruptor shots to clean up the Zerglings. This is where having a Colossus would have helped so much because those Zerglings are such a problem for the Stalker Disruptor to deal with. Once the Archons and the Colossus are gone, Zerglings reign supreme. And MeomaikA manages to once again take out a lot of expensive units. I think he just killed 2 Disruptors in that fight. Stalkers do take out a bunch of these Roaches, Ravagers, and Lings. Good chase here by Night Phoenix, man. Takes out all those Ravagers. He can now run back. He sees the Lings coming. He knows there's a big remax of Lings and does back off. Has a bit of respect here for MeomaikA. For Night Phoenix, he's taking the gas. He needs to take this 5th base on the left in the near future because his main's completely mined out. Natural getting pretty low as well, including the gases. And Meo says, you know what? This game's been going for 16 minutes. I'm not just going to play Roachling Corruptor. I will also make a hive. Obviously, Abducts would be amazing on the Disruptors. You can technically Blinding Cloud. I don't think he'll go Broodlords because that just seems a bit too immobile for MeomaikA, the psychopath that he is. Masslings coming in again. Roaches on the front, Lings in the back door. This man knows how to pleasure a Protoss whether they want it or not. He's going to find a way to stimulate all their orifices. And the Lings trying to get in, but he F2s them back. Classic MeomaikA micro there. He's accidentally F2'd his Lings back. He now grabs them, sends them back to the front. Notice his only control group is those Lings right now. The rest of his army, every time he controls it, he's using F2 and the Lings run home. Oh, to me, it's amazing, guys. Like, you know, I know a lot about StarCraft, and I'm not as active with practicing hard these days, but to know that a guy like Meo can have like a 98% win rate versus me these days without really using control groups properly, whilst not spreading creep, it's amazing. It's incredible. And the fact is, a guy like Night Phoenix is way better than I am, and he's on the ropes right now. He does have a very scary push here, but he's got to be careful with the Disruptors. Look at the flank. Meo setting up a big flank from the north. The Ling Roach Ravager coming in from all sides. There's only 3 Archons in here. Night Phoenix throwing out a Disruptor shot. He gets not much at all with the first Disruptor. Another Disruptor does go out. It takes out a lot of Roaches, but the Lings are on top of everything, and he's getting swarmed. And that's what you got to be so careful of with Meo. He's so good at shifting between like mass Zergling, mass Roach, mass Hydra. He plays ZVP kind of like he's tech switching here and there. A lot of Zergs, it's pre-planned tech switches, like, okay, or pre-planned compositions. I'm going to play Roach Hydra, we'll add Vipers and Lurkers. And you're like, okay, cool, like, that's just like a solid plan. But Meo will be like, hey, wait a second, you're a little heavy on the Stalker Disruptor. I'm going to make 140 Zerglings. Oh, you're a little heavy on the Zealots? I'm going to make 100 Roaches. Like, he just goes so hard on one composition. The Zealots getting surrounded in the top left. This could be a good Zealot run by down here. But Night Phoenix does not have a big economy to replace all these Zealots. So if Meo can avoid taking catastrophic damage, he'll be good. Obviously, his work account's not good, but remember, Protoss doesn't have new expansions, so they can't use their money right now. These Zealots trying to pick off these units. Zergling's going to get very efficient surrounds on them. Maybe he takes out some of the hatcheries. Those 3 Zealots going to get surrounded as well. These Zealots going to at least take out this hatchery. Maybe he only got 2 drones. Meo handled this really well. And remember, Night Phoenix has 20 worker advantage, but he's not actually ahead in money. Well, he's actually ahead in gas. Meo has no gas mining. Oh my god, Meo has no gas. Wait, did Meo? Because he's lost this base, that had his only important gases. These gases are almost mined out. The man is making +3 melee adrenal glands. He's got a Viper mass Zergling with a handful of Ravagers and 2 Corruptors. His army is literally just Zerglings. How the hell? Okay, there's High Templar there ready for the feedbacks on the Vipers potentially. The Stalkers are not very useful, but 3 Archons, a bunch of Zealots, and a Colossus. These units are made for annihilating Zerglings. He's trying to swap back into Roaches. He realizes his army is a little bit too tilted in one direction, but look at that big Ling run by on the top right. Or top left, I should say. Adrenal Glands is finished. That base will fall so quickly. +2 Adrenal Gland Zerglings do so much damage, man. Those probes as well starting to fall. That base needs to get cancelled. Oh my god, he doesn't cancel it. It goes down. Oh no! And Meo with his insane mobility is going to try to catch him. He throws out a Disruptor shot, but it's not enough. The Lings surround the army. The wall of Archon Zealot Stalker looks really good, but Blinding Clouds land on top, and Meo like an absolute savage, just face palms that army. I've never seen someone just like literally headbutt what should have been a brick wall the way he does. Meo has this killer instinct for knowing when he can win fights with the army composition that's countered by his opponent. He says, no, yeah, you counter me, but I have so many more units than you right here, right now. I'm just gonna surround and kill your stuff before it can kill my stuff. That has got to be so traumatic mentally for Night Phoenix, because I know personally playing PvZ versus Meo, it always feels like you're like, well, your tech is redundant at this point, so I'm pretty sure I just win the game. And he always finds a way to just surround your units and somehow kill them with a surprising number. And you always go back and look at the replay and you realize, well, I assumed he would rebuild his drones. I assumed he'd go up to 75 workers. And he's like, no. I have 180 zerglings surrounding your army. And you're just like, ugh. Blood drips out your ears. You feel the pain. And you realize once again just how difficult it is to play against someone who plays StarCraft so bloody differently to everybody else. What a fun game. I love that 3 roach gets scouted, only builds 3 roaches, moves across, fakes it at the start. I think this is my favorite part of this game. And then he's just like, wait, if I hide those roaches, I can join them with Ravagers and with Massling. And even just 3 Ravagers is actually so powerful with Massling. And it's almost like even 20 minutes into the game, he was still on a Mass Ravager-ling composition, wasn't he? At its core, it was like just this insanely fragile, high damage, yet very mobile army. That's so annoying to play against. Well played, MeomaikA. GG. Hope you guys enjoyed this game. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Goodbye and good night.